What's up, gals and pals? I'm Coach Vino. This is the Progress Bar, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make Vino's quick and easy Limoncello recipe. Now, for you guys that don't know, I grew up in the Little Italy area of the Bronx, otherwise known as Arthur Avenue. So Limoncello is something that was always in my life, and I've been making this recipe for years, so I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, all right? But before I show you how to do that, I need you guys to do me a favor, okay? I need you to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can help Vino feed the hungry algorithm. And make sure you stick around because we're gonna boogie down. All right, let us look at what is in the sauce for day one of Coach Vino's Limoncello recipe. All right, the first thing you're gonna need is 3 lemons. I like to use organic lemons, but if you can't find organic lemons, just make sure you wash yours really well because we will be using the peels for this recipe. All right, next thing you'll need is 1 cup of a high-proof neutral spirit, something like Liqueur or a similar brand like I have here, which is 95% ABV. Now you can use vodka, which is 40% ABV, but just realize it won't be as efficient at extracting the lemon peels, and you're probably going to want to lower the amount of sugar in the recipe. All right, and the last thing you're going to need for day one of our Limoncello recipe is a mason jar or any container that you can use for the infusion process. All right, now let's head to the bar and start making our Limoncello. All right, so here we are. We got our lemons and our mason jar, and the first thing we're gonna do is peel our lemons, and then we're gonna put them inside of the mason jar. All right, something to keep in mind when you're peeling your lemons is try not to get too much of the white part of the lemon peel, okay? That's the pith. You wanna get the yellow, that's where the flavor is, and plus the pith can be very bitter, and you don't want a bitter limoncello, okay? Now, through the magic of YouTube, let's go ahead and skip to the post-peeled lemons. All right, so here's our peeled lemons and our peels in the mason jar. I'm gonna put this bad boy to the side, and then later on, maybe I'll make some lemonade for my kid. She loves that stuff, all right? All right, now we're gonna go ahead and add 1 cup of our high-proof neutral spirit to the mason jar. What I'm using here is a 95% grain spirit, similar to something like Everclear. Now again, you could use something like vodka, which is 40% ABV, but the higher the ABV, the more efficient it is at extracting the flavors from the lemon peels, which ultimately speeds up the process. All right, so the next step is to put this bad boy away and let the booze do its job, which is extracting the flavors from the lemon peel. This could take anywhere from 3 to 5 days. Just make sure you shake it daily, and let's move on to day 2. All right, let us look at what is in the sauce for day 2 of our Limoncello recipe. First thing you'll need is 5 ounces of sugar. Now you might think this is too much, or you might think this is too little. I think it's the perfect amount. After you try the recipe, you can always adjust it the next time you make it. The next ingredient that you'll need is 1 cup of water. All right, so that sugar and that water is to make our simple syrup, so you're gonna need a small pot to heat it up. Now, if you have a small fine mesh strainer, you may want to use it. I'll explain why later, but it's completely optional. And the last piece you're gonna need for my Limoncello recipe is a container that could hold at least 16 ounces. I like to use these flip top bottles that you can find on Amazon for a couple of bucks, or you can use an old mason jar or an old bottle, whatever you have, all right? Now let's finish making Vino's Limoncello. All right, so I've got all my stuff laid out here. I've got my pot heating up. I've got my water. I've got my sugar. I've got a little spoon there for stirring. I've got a lid to cover the pot. And then I've even got my infused lemon peels, which I will explain to you why later, okay? So now let's go ahead and add our 1 cup of water. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and add our 5 ounces of sugar. Again, you can adjust this, especially if you're going to be using something like vodka. You might want to cut back on the sugar, or you may find that you need more sugar when you're using the high proof stuff, all right? So we're just going to stir this as much as possible. Just keep on stirring until all of the sugar crystals have dissolved. Don't let it sit. You don't want the sugar crystals to cook. All you want to do is dissolve the sugar. So once the sugar is fully dissolved, you can actually go ahead and turn the stove off. All right, so as you can see here, our sugar crystals have fully dissolved. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off, take the pot off of the heat, and now we're gonna move on to our next step, okay? And what I'm gonna be doing here is I'm actually gonna take the lemon peels out of the mason jar, and I'm gonna add them to the warm simple syrup, okay? And the reason I'm doing this is because the heat from the simple syrup will actually extract whatever lemon flavor is left in these peels, okay? And that's gonna make your simple syrup lemony, it's gonna make your alcohol lemony, and you're just gonna have a really, really lemony limoncello. The more lemon, the better, right? And now we're gonna go ahead and cover this and let it cool, and we're gonna move on to our next step once it cools down. All right, so here's our final spread. I've got my simple syrup, which is cooled off. It still has the lemon peels in it. I've got a mason jar full of lemon infused booze, and then I've got my 16-ounce bottle with a funnel. As you can see, our booze has been beautifully infused with those lemon peels, a nice, rich, deep yellow color. So let's go ahead and add it to our bottle. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you have a small fine mesh strainer, this is where you would use it just to help you fish out any small bits that might be inside of the infusion, but it's really not necessary. Now, the aroma coming off of this infusion already is absolutely fantastic. It is full on lemon flavor. It smells remarkable. All right, we are in the home stretch of my limoncello recipe. This is where we're gonna add the simple syrup to the bottle. Now, if you don't have a fine mesh strainer, you may want to take the lemon peels out in advance, but if you do, the fine mesh strainer will catch them. All right, while we finish waiting for that to pour in the bottle, this is the perfect opportunity for you guys to go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and that notification bell, so you can help Vino continue to bring you more great videos. All right, that is the last of our simple syrup. And look at that, folks, a perfect 16 ounces right to the top of the bottle. Let's go ahead and seal that up. And there you have it, folks, Coach Vino's Limoncello. All right, so I hope you guys found that recipe to be nice and easy. Let's go ahead and give my limoncello a sippy sip, right? Now, I've had this in the fridge because I like my limoncello nice and cold, right, folks? So let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open and pour some for ourselves, all right? Oh, yeah, there we go. I mean, oh, smells so good. I mean, that is some real lemon zest again there, right? Cheers. Oh, this is amazing, guys. Oh, so good. I love this stuff. It is, it's strong. That's, we're talking about some high proof stuff. This is not like your normal store-bought ones, which could be a little lower in proof. The proof on this is high, but it's still very drinkable, very delicious. And I'm telling you, you drink this thing nice and ice cold, forget it. And I gotta tell you, for me, it's very important that you add the lemon peels into the simple syrup while it's cooling off, because that heat helps to extract a little more of the lemon flavor that you get from the peels. All right, folks? This is fantastic. All right, well, there you have it, my quick and easy limoncello recipe. I hope you guys go ahead and make it. If you liked this video, please press like, please subscribe, and please share with your family and friends. Remember, sharing is caring, and when life gives you lemons, make some limoncello. Cheers.